Welcome to Dissecting Tyrone. I'm Jason.
I'm Brandon.
And today is season 2, episode 7, Family Matters. Man, today we thought it'd be a treat since it's, that time of the year about family and Thanksgiving to have our family on.
Right.
So today we brought our sons, one of my sons and Brandon's son. We're going to let you guys introduce yourself.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Nasir.
Okay, these guys are a little nervous, guys. So they don't worry. As it keeps going, we'll ease into it and everything. But yeah, this is Nasir. We call him Nas, and that's Brandon, but we call him BJ.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we really want to talk about, man, is just family, like family dynamics, especially because Dissecting Tyrone is about life through the eyes of men, specifically black men. And a lot of times, you get that role as, black men aren't always there for their children. They're not there for their kids, and they're not in their kids' lives. So part of this podcast is breaking that stereotype, and we want to talk about those dynamics today.
Right, and we want to go against the norm a little bit because mostly you'll see podcasts. If you do see dads, it may just be a group of dads, and you don't really see the dynamics of their children as well. So it's always good to get the dialogue going and kind of spark some new conversations and see what happens.
Definitely. What a lot of people don't know is this podcast was almost named Two Dope Dads. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Because, being a father is really like one of the biggest parts or biggest aspects of both of our lives, something we both take a lot of pride in.
Yep. So I guess we can get into it.
Hey, get into it. Let me ask you this. Let's start off, since it is a little bit about fatherhood. How did it feel the first time you found out you're going to be a father?
Man, it was crazy. So I will say, I think we were in the doctor's office, and first the first time I found out, I was super excited. But I remember when we found out that he was a boy, and the minute that they said it, man, I almost did a backflip in the doctor's office, knocking over stuff. So I was super duper happy and ready to be a father and take on fatherhood. And I think one of the biggest things was because, and we've talked before, with my father, he was there, but he wasn't there. So I always told myself at some point, whenever I become a father, I don't want to be anything like him. And there's no knock against him, but I just wanted to be better than him and set the example, set the tone, because I knew that I have a lot to offer, and my offspring, they can definitely benefit from it.
I agree. It was huge for me. Same, we talked plenty of times about our father and the dynamics, and everybody knows that I always knew my father, but my father didn't raise me. So being a dad was huge for me. I used to run around my church and beg people to name their son Jason. So when I had my first son, which is actually Nas's older brother, Jason Jr., man, I was elated, dude. It was one of the best moments of my life.
Right. Great times.
Definitely great time. Well, let me ask you this. Let's just jump right into it. Being examples to our sons, like, what's one thing you feel like you had to unlearn, that you were taught, you were raised, that you passed on to your son?
Unlearn. I think
from your own childhood, like something you learned from your childhood that you didn't want to pass on to your son, that you wanted to teach him to be better or be different.
I honestly just being present. So, like I said, we've talked about it. Just looking at it from my dad's perspective, because that's what I was going off of. Just being present, just off the gate, is a big step, because if they see you and they mimic you and you're walking in the right path, the right light, and you do the work, but ultimately you would think that your child would follow your footsteps and go explore, go do their own thing. So I would say that on the other side, like I said, with my mom, a lot, like, she raised me, the way that she raised me was great. So I think the other piece was the communication aspect and just being able to talk to him and break it down to his level at any moment, and just let him know, like, hey, I'm here if you need to express yourself, if you need to talk. And that started at an early age before he could even talk. So
yeah, I think for me, actually probably be the same thing. Just, the break the generational curse of, the fathers not being present.
Right.
Again, I knew my father, so I did have it better than some kids. Some kids didn't even know. So I knew my father. I knew where I come from. I knew, I had a large family with brothers and sisters, and they later in life, when I got to meet everybody, they all welcomed me in, and so that was good. But I really want to break that stereotype and show my kids that just being present, isn't enough, but it's the first step.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a start. And I think a lot of, hopefully, our followers, if you kind of struggling on the fence with, like, yeah, you have a son or a daughter or children, and just that next step on responsibility. The biggest step is just start being present. And like we talked about in some of our other episodes, yes, there could be some type of roadblocks or barriers, but at a bare minimum, you have a right to be in your child's life, and that's something that you need to explore and execute your rights.
And it is scary, man, especially for a young father. First time, it's scary. And sometimes, I think it being scary is what sometimes might scare some fathers off. But I want to encourage the fathers out there that, man, you're going to make some mistakes. Like, this is life. You make some in your own life. You're going to make some concerning your children. But there's no mistake you can't come back from as long as you're there. Like,
right.
Being present is, like you said, that's step one.
Yep. And I think the other thing is, man, like your community, you may not necessarily have a grandfather or uncle or somebody to go off of, but if you frequent somewhere and you have somewhat of a community like the barbershop, just something as simple as taking your son to the barbershop, letting them experience like, okay, this is what father culture really is, because you're going to get fathers from all walks of life, people from all walks of life in there, but you may have an OG in there that may give you a couple words of wisdom, or if you listening and they're seeing how you know what I'm saying, at least try and bring your son, like they may do something to try to help you go down that path of fatherhood. And it may not be a lot, but anything can help, and just a little smallest thing can definitely help.
Yeah, and see, me and Nas, we have these conversations all the time, and I'll secretly record them, and I know he's tired of them, and then I'll post them on the internet, and people will talk about it, but I get so many inboxes where people are like, that's so dope, man, to hear a father and son have that type of dialogue, those type of dynamics. So let me bring the young men in and ask you guys, how often do you see your peers or your friends that don't have fathers in their life?
I mean, there's a lot that do have fathers, but like some that don't, they're just like more on the quiet side. Like they don't really be talking to anyone. They're just like in their own little space or whatever.
What about you, Nas?
I see it very often, but I see it in the sense of like they have their fathers, but their fathers aren't like present emotionally, mentally, physically. Like you can spend time with your father all day, but only get like 2 minutes from his energy.
That right there, that's kind of deep. So you saying you see a lot of your friends where they might have fathers in their lives, but they're not really, active or emotionally present.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how do you see how that affects them? Do you see any negative attributes that come from that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with the women they date, they kind of like learn from that stuff from their dad, and then they just it's like an example for it.
Like a cycle, or
Yeah,
okay,
basically.
Wow.
So something to what Nas said. I seen something I think sometime this week where they were talking about a father. In some instances, if they don't have that right partner, maybe they're just working. They could be present in the house, but their responsibilities to keep the house afloat or financially or whatever it is, it can take away from that childhood. And then if you that's their children's childhood, but then if you aren't on your grind and aren't present or on from that financial aspect, you're looked at as a deadbeat or you're looked at as a bum. So it's almost a catch-22. You got to find that right balance. So like for all the fathers out there, again, like just trying to, and parents in general, just trying to just be more active and take more active roles the best that you can. Yeah, we know we got work, or sometimes people work crazy hours, so you only see your kid certain times of the day. But I just think it's one of those things, like just taking baby steps to reclaim that time back, because again, would you rather somebody else raise your child or you raise their child, and somebody else could be TV or other influences, and you just have to be very, very present and impressionable early on and throughout their childhood.
No, definitely. And and this episode isn't just about fathers, so I don't want to stick on
Right.
this all for the whole episode. But let me ask you this, guys, just being in today's world, because I think when I was a teen, I felt misunderstood a lot, and we felt like the older people didn't know what we were going through. And so because we still feel young, sometimes we don't realize what our kids are going through. So Jason, all my kids look just alike, so that's why I be switching names. Nas and BJ, what do you think is the hardest thing right now about being a teenager for you?
The hardest thing I think is probably like maintaining your grades, because a lot of people, they're just trying to pass, and like, I mean, for them getting like a B or a C is still good because they're trying to pass instead of actually trying to go somewhere because they don't really have anything else to do, or they have no one to teach them how to become more responsible in getting like A's and B's and getting more scholarships and stuff.
Scholarships. You already thinking about scholarships? And what grade are you in?
Ninth.
You're in the 9th grade. You already thinking about scholarships? Yeah, that's good. I sure wasn't thinking about no scholarships in the 9th grade. What about you, Nas? What do you think the hardest thing about being a teenager right now is?
I'll say outlets. Like, we get everything from music or our parents, and then the parents try to be too much of the friend and they forget to be the parent. And then just our friends, the school system, everything around us, social media is just portraying a bad light.
Yeah, I think to his point, and even BJ's point, I think when we grew up, even though we had technology, but it's magnified now. So we knew what it was to not really have technology, gradually have technology, and then be immersed in technology. And I think that could be a big distraction if it's not, handled properly. So I put myself on blast when he was younger. It'd be one of those things like, okay, here's your iPad, and then you think it's like just some child stuff, which it could be, and then the next thing you know, they may spend a couple hours. You got to kind of regulate that, and you're getting them fixed on it. So it's kind of crazy how the technology has evolved, and now you have so many different outlets to take their mind off of what they truly need to be doing if they don't have somebody in their life that's grounding them.
Well, and it's got to be hard for them because that's hard for us.
Right.
Like, man, listen, I do a lot sometimes.
Death scrolls.
Listen, last night, man, I passed out at probably like 7 p.m. and I didn't even know it. You wake up, you're like, where am I at? Like, I didn't know what was going on. And it's probably about 11 when I woke up. So I couldn't get back to sleep. And I just started scrolling. And, man, you look up and it's 2 a.m. So I'm like, if me as an adult who's very good at regulating myself can get caught up in that, what we call the rabbit hole.
Right.
Get caught in the rabbit hole of social media. How hard is that for a kid? Like Nas, BJ, like when you guys are on, I don't know what sites you guys are on all together. But when you're on social media, TikTok and all those things, how do you make sure that you don't get too caught up into it?
For me, I have like downtime or whatever. So like I have screen time. It's like a certain time to where I can be on my phone sometimes. But like, right now, I be on my phone a lot, probably like 5 hours, but it's like spread out though.
It's spread. Hey, kudos to your mom and your dad on screen time because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not good at screen. Like I'll be like, oh, they all right.
Yeah, so no, that was pretty big, just doing that. But I think also early on with him, giving him that freedom to have his own screen time. But I'm a big Black history buff, so I would try to interject things and say, go look this up. Or I would just say, hey, okay, well, we in basketball season, kind of look at these players. Same thing with football season or golf or whatever it is, just so now he's self-learning and educating. So he spends some time on screen time, things that he may not use brain power on, but then he does use it for things that he can use and take to his day or whatever his daily regimen is. So,
Nas, what about you? How do you navigate not getting lost in the internet?
Man, I used to be bad at it, not gonna lie, but now I have the same thing, the screen time thing, and then also I just replaced that bad habit with a good one, like reading. So instead of TikTok for a couple of hours, I'm gonna spend that time reading. And I just had to realize like the importance of time. Like 1 hour could mean a lot. So if I'm spending 1 hour every day doing the same thing, within a year I'm gonna be way farther than if I spent that same hour being on TikTok. And
that's smart.
I realized that it's just like a dopamine thing. Like every time you scroll, you're just looking for the next thing, the next big thing. Like, and I can't even remember the last 5 TikToks I watched, and I watch thousands of them every day. So, yeah.
When did you? Let me ask you a question now. So when did you? How long ago did you start developing or like starting to replace your screen time or other things that may not? I won't call it not meaningful, but like to kind of replace some of those other screen times. Like how long ago did you start that?
Probably like low-key a couple months ago. Okay. I had to start small though. It had to be like first. I remember I used to have music in 24/7, like music in the shower, music at school.
Horrible music, by the way.
Definitely not.
These horrible rappers,
man. But music everywhere, like, and I always had my headphones in, and I'm like, dang, I don't feel really present in all the conversations I'm having. So first, let me chill out on the music at school. Then it's like, all right, let me not try to be on TikTok during class. Then so I just had to build those small steps. But it really was like, as soon as I read my first book, now I just got hooked onto it. And then I read this book called Atomic Habits, and it was really talking about like that dopamine with social media and stuff. So
Yeah, and did you physically read or do you do audiobook?
I physically read.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like audiobooks
Hey,
is real. I don't know.
Me and Nas just had a talk recently where I had to tell him, like, son, you can't beat everybody over the head with the things that you're learning, because Nas gets so on fire for things. He's just like me.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets locked in on something, he's locked in. So Nas is like, I got 5 books, Dad. This book, Dad, you got this book. I'm gonna send you this book. And I told Jason that he better start reading some books. I gave him a book, Dad. He ain't even reading it. And I'm like, son, you got to kind of let people, move at their pace and learn at their thing. Because when Nas is into something, he's into it. So, how many books are you reading right now? I know it's more than one.
Oh yeah, I already finished 3. Right now I'm reading like, I think another 3 like at the same time.
Yes, so Nas, like me, he gets hyper focused on things.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. What about you, BJ? You read a lot?
Nah.
You listen to whack rappers? Yeah, dude. Hey, Nas be
Nah,
playing
he
these
don't.
rappers, and I be like, man, these dudes is horrible. Dad, you don't get it.
You know the
Yeah, I
funny
don't.
thing about with BJ, early on I put him on to what I thought was like that golden era of hip hop. We'll also listen to jazz, some R&B, and then he listens to newer things. But it's so funny just how his ear is, and like when the whole what was it, Kendrick Lamar and Drake situation was going on, just like kind of deciphering through that. We sitting back listening at responses, so it was like kind of cool just to now him being in this mode. We could just listen. I could let himself just vibe, and we just vibing together on it.
No, that's good. That's good. Let me ask you this, fellas. I know this is a lot of questions for y'all, but we don't. A lot of times we don't get to pick the minds of the younger generation, because we're so busy trying to train you and teach you and tell you what to do. Sometimes we don't sit back and listen. So let me ask you this: what's something that you wish adults understood more about your generation, about you guys?
That like, I'm trying to think, that we just can't like really do like one thing at like one time, because like sometimes like our brains, like our brains aren't fully developed. So like I think that we take things a lot slower to comprehend or whatever, when the parents or whatever, they want it like done like in a snap or whatever, and we just can't do that. But we'll get to it, but we just can't do it like right there.
Nas? And let me say this too. I think as parents, the hard part is sometimes y'all say y'all gonna get to it and y'all don't get to it. So then we be like, no, do it right now. So, but I do get it. That is something I know as a parent I'm pretty bad about. Like, no, do it now. I guess Jay gets away with a little more because she's my girl. The girls, Jade and Mariah, they get away with a little bit more. But I do that because they'll forget. But Nas, what about you? What's something that you wish that parents or adults understood about, you and kids from your generation?
I'll say I don't struggle with this, me personally, but all my friends, like, with their parents, they always come to me and tell me, like, they wish their parents understood that, like, we going through stuff, too. Like, we have so much to do, especially with school, that it's not like how it was back in y'all generation. Like, it's amplified by 1,000. And then we not even learning nothing in school because most of us is cheating, and then AI is so easy to use. It's just like teachers don't want to teach how they used to. Everything just seemed like, overproduced.
Most of us is cheating.
Hey, not me though.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. If I had AI when I was a kid, man, I might have finished high school. like I might have got through it.
So my thing with AI, like I tell BJ, because that's a whole nother topic for this generation, but use it to your advantage, but don't like let it consume you to the point to where it's thinking for you. Right. So like I've always been that type to try to go seek out knowledge and look at multiple sources. And that's the other thing too with social media. Like I'm real big on having him. He comes to me with a question, and I can probably answer it. But now that he's in this stage, I'm training him to go look up these different sources. So you have 3 or 4 different sources, and now you can kind of make an educated guess. And then when you come back to me, I'll try to help fill in the blanks from there. But like I said, with the whole thing with the AI is just, you still need to know material. Just use AI for the tool that it is, and still put your thoughts down, but just try to make your life a lot easier if you find that right balance.
No, I definitely agree with that. Um, let me ask you a question. Is there anything that you regret that maybe you didn't teach your son sooner, or that you wish you would have taught them that you didn't, or anything like that? Is there anything in fatherhood that you regret doing or not doing?
Nothing that I regret, but one thing that I'm thankful for is, like I think I alluded to it earlier. When there has some type of conflict resolution, I remember him being 2 years old and something didn't go his way, or something had happened. My first reaction was to maybe yell like maybe some parents or relatives had done in the past. But I thought about it. I'm like, that's not gonna make any sense. So I literally got on one knee. I looked him in the eye and I start talking to him. And he was very responsive of that. And I was like, okay, I think this is the way that I need to communicate, is get down on his level to make sure that he understands me. And that started at 2. And then now we have a great relationship to where I feel as he can come to me with anything. I can talk to him about anything, and we coexist in the space that we need to coexist the best that we can.
Yeah, I think for me, it was spankings.
Okay.
Like I was raised on spankings, so I believed in them. And when I had got married the second time, my ex was a therapist, and she was really big on, you can't teach a kid, something by hitting them. That's more of disciplining and not correcting.
Right.
And so I do still believe in spankings, but I believe a spanking is like the death penalty. Like I haven't spanked a kid in, I don't know, 10 years. Like I don't want to say I don't believe in them, but I also feel like a lot of times as parents, we're just taking out our frustration on the child when it's spanking, and they're not learning anything from it. And my goal is to have my children learn and grow and be better. And so I also have been big on talking. Actually, I think most of my kids wish I would whoop them versus all the talking, because he said, yeah, because I'll talk all night long and be like, well, did you this, that, and you think about that. But Nas, I want to say this. You told me that you appreciated our conversations.
Yeah, I definitely did. At first, I used to want to get spanked because it's just like, I felt like, dang, I would have got more discipline doing that. But now that I'm older and realize we had those conversations, I'm like, I'm definitely doing that with my kid too, because I actually learned way more. Like, I was able to, and conflict resolution, like, I'm able to talk things out. And that's why in my relationship right now, I am married, ladies, just so y'all know.
He is not married. This boy is not married, FYI. I finally met her, though. She is a sweetheart. But he is not married, ladies.
But, yeah, I learned a lot in conflict resolution. Like, I learned that I'm the type to just want to talk things out, and that's from you. So, and it's actually way better to do that, because I'm glad I wasn't spanked, and that would have just re-traumatized me.
Re-traumatized you, okay.
So the whole spanking thing, like I was a believer. I got whoopings, not too many of them. I can count on one hand. I learned from my whoopings, but I've never whooped BJ ever because I didn't need to. And to be honest, I think when it comes to a man of some authority figure that's in the household, if I probably raise my voice or say I'm disappointed at him, that's probably gonna hurt him more than a whooping. So again, being able to use your words, and then that's the other thing, the key thing too. I tell BJ, he gets frustrated at times, and I said, son, it's okay to be frustrated. Like, get it out, say what you need to say. But once you get past that, let's start talking, because you have to allow that space respectfully to let him decompress. Because I think so often, like in our generation, and even in this generation now, a kid can't express themselves. Like, they may feel a frustration and they're like, well, I don't know who I need to talk to. And then now everything is bottled up. And then that's where you get these therapy sessions years down the road when they're adults, or maybe in their late teens, and you just started another cycle or created another cycle. And a quick story. So to this morning, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I came across this church, and it's in Dallas. And the young little girl had been about 10, 11 years old. She's standing up, and they're all.
You said that to me.
Yep. So they're all like just standing on line, and the lady was just like, oh, well, y'all, she should have just said, okay, well, not speaking materialistically, what are y'all thankful for? But she was like, well, it better not be no shoes, it better not be no clothes or no money. All she had to do was articulate herself right. So already these kids on edge probably. They get a mic to the little girl, and she said, well, I'm thankful for my stepmom. And her mom was right there. So then she said, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Then
Well,
the
she
mom,
said the stepmom listened to her.
right,
Listens
listen,
to it.
no, that was the second part.
Yeah.
So the first one, she was like, I'm thankful for my stepmom. She called herself, and her mom was like, oh, no, I know you lying. This is in church now. She goes and she said, oh, no, finish up. Say what you going to say. So she said, all right, cool. So then she said, I'm thankful for my stepmom because she listens to me and she hears me. And the mom went crazy. Some of the women in the congregation went crazy. They tried to lay hands. I'm like,
they rebuked her.
Right.
They stopped it and was like, I rebuked that demon in you.
They said, open the door and let the demon out. And I'm like, hold up. Y'all should be leaving if the door is open.
Yeah, y'all the
crazy
demon.
work. So things like that, not giving kids, so here's the thing, not having parents, men, women, mom, dad, who are not emotionally stable enough or to be able to receive that feedback and make the change because they have so many traumas themselves. That's a big thing that goes on. I know in our community, probably every community, but more specifically, we're in our community. It happens a lot, and it's bad for business.
No, and man, that was a trip. And you know, one thing is, in our community, people are big on same energy.
Right.
I'm gonna give you the same energy,
Yep.
but they don't realize that the same energy that they're putting out is coming back from their children too. Like like you said, when she started off with like, it better not be about no clothes. It better not be about. Well, you gonna get that same energy back. Like energy is transferable no matter if they're grown or a child.
Yep, and that's the thing. A lot of parents, men and women, don't realize is when you're perceived a certain way by a child, and you're saying you're on this rah kick. What do you expect? And that's the thing too. We knew kids who used to get whoopings, used to get the brakes beat off of them, but that didn't change anything. It still was bad.
Yeah, because it was about discipline. Now it was about your frustration that you're taking out on them versus teaching them.
Yep.
You know, like Nas. Let me ask you a question. How often do you hear me yell and scream?
Never.
Yeah, I don't because I can't teach you nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my job as a parent isn't to discipline you for everything that you do wrong. My job as a parent is to teach you how to be a better human being.
Yep. And BJ, so question for you. So you remember, it's been a minute. It's probably been a couple years, but I think you may have gotten in trouble. And one of the punishments, what's my punishment? It's an old school punishment. What do I have you do if you get out of line or you did something egregious enough? You remember?
One time you made me do I know it was back in grade school. You had some type of stick or whatever, and you made me put my hands out like this and just hold it or whatever.
So that was a form of it. But the other one, if you don't remember, is writing sentences. You remember?
Yeah.
So yeah, he got out of pocket. I said, because my mom did it to me. If something had happened, she said, you owe me 200 sentences, and it needs to be like this on the line paper. Flip it over. I'm gonna count it. So those are some of the things that I do because now not only is he thinking about what he did, he's writing it out, so working on his penmanship, so all these different things. And yeah, it's been time. I probably had him hold his hands out. I remember one time I had him go in the backyard, running side to side and doing football drills, and he ended up liking it. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. So, but yeah, so those are some of the disciplinary things that I've done in the past. But now I think we're getting to that level to where we just talk.
Yeah, and I'm big on teaching them once my kids got to high school, because one thing I noticed is that as a lot of times in our community, we tell our children what to do all the way until they're adults, and then we expect them to get out and just know how to be adults.
Yep.
So one thing I'm big on is, tell me what you want. Go look it up, go Google it, figure out this, figure out that. And I'm really about teaching them how to make decisions on their own, because I feel like, don't get me wrong, I don't let them just make every decision, but I want them to start learning how to process, logically what they're going through, what's going on, and how to make those decisions. Because a lot of times in our community, they go from senior in high school to where we told them everything, what time to get up, what time to be ready, what to wear, we told them every little detail of life, to now, well, you grown, go figure it out.
Right.
And that's failure. That's setting them up for failure.
Same thing with financial aspects of the game, just all of it. And I think one of the things that at first he didn't like doing, he still might not like doing it, but I think it was something, BJ, you asked me, it was something that you had asked me. I said, okay, well, I want you to call. I'm gonna be right here, but I want you to place the call and ask what it is you're going for. It could have been something as simple like, I don't know, like a phone repair or something like that. And I was just like, okay, you broke it, so let's go through the progressions. Pick up the phone. This is the number. And he was kind of shy, but now he could pick up the phone and speak and have that dialogue Whereas if I never did that, and to your point, he's 17, 18, getting out the house, and now he has to start making decisions. He pick up the phone. He don't even know what to say. There's no dialogue.
Yeah.
There's no nothing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, guys. BJ and Nas, I want you to answer too. If you could give your dad one piece of advice on how to parent you, what would that advice be? Nas, you got something why BJ thinks?
Man, I'm thinking too. I ain't gonna lie, you did a good job. So,
Oh man, look, don't make a brother cry up here. I'm a thug still. BJ, you ain't got nothing either?
Nah, I really can't think of anything.
Oh man, dude, I think that means we must be doing good jobs as fathers right
sure,
there.
for
I know
sure.
we're not perfect, but
we
again,
try.
we do take pride in being fathers, man. So that is so important to me, to be a good father, to teach my son how to be a good father for when he is in that role.
Oh, absolutely.
What about? Let me see. Let's see. You guys know I got my questions down here, so I'm looking at my questions to see what else we can ask. Oh, you know what? Let me ask you this. It's Thanksgiving. Give me something you guys are thankful for, and it's gonna be for everybody. Brandon, give me one big thing you're thankful for this year.
I'm thankful for my stepmom. No, I'm just
I'm gonna get that demon out of you.
So man, I'm thankful and I'm truly blessed just being able to partly just live my dream out. So I may have mentioned before, end up getting laid off from a job with the end of 2023, and obviously I had my business going, so it was just now taking that step and just going full, all money in, being able to just follow my dreams, super duper scary, but having my son along the way, because I've always showed him the ropes, and it's just like, yeah, he's seen me in the corporate mode, now he's seeing me in entrepreneur mode, but I still got to provide, still got to do things and keep things afloat. So I'm very, very thankful for all of the love and energy that I'm getting, that I pour into the business and also pouring into him, and then just seeing the fruits of my labor actually coming to fruition. So very, very thankful for that. Very thankful for my son, family, you know what I'm saying? It's friends, all love. So, yeah.
Yeah, overall, I'm pretty thankful for everything, too. Before we sat down to shoot this episode, we just came from, serving meals at the Salvation Army to people who, might not always get a hot meal. And when you see things like that, man, it really lets you realize, man, that, me wanting a new truck or me wanting, some new Jordans or whatever is really not what's important, man. There's so many people out here that don't even have an option to go get some new Jordans. Like, they're thankful for the shoes somebody gave them, or a program that helped them get some food in their refrigerator. And I think a lot of times when you've been blessed with a decent life, that you forget those things. You forget that, man, there's somebody that can't open the refrigerator and pull something out to make for dinner, or look in there and see there's nothing in the refrigerator and just run and go to a restaurant and have dinner that night. There's some people that don't have that luxury.
Nope.
Like eating can be a luxury, which is crazy, but there's some people that don't have that. So I'm just thankful for, all of my blessings, from the financial things to the emotional things. Like, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, we definitely blessed. I think, BJ, you had a experience Saturday feeding the homeless. You want to talk a little bit about that too before we get into your question?
Well, it was like we were at something. I forgot what place it was at, but like
was it the Francis house?
No.
Okay.
It was. I forgot. I have to.
Don't worry about it.
But like what we did was we packed like cereal or whatever for like people in need or whatever that went to different organizations, and the lady said that we packed like around like I think 800 pounds of cereal around there, and it was like 100 and. We did like, because we put like 6 cereal bags in one box or whatever, so we did like around 130 boxes of those.
It was a Food Bank of America, I think, or something like that, or Nebraska, one or two.
Yeah, it was like Food Bank of something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what about thankful? What are you thankful for?
My parents and my friends and my family. And another thing I'm thankful for is... Probably, I don't even know. Probably just money.
Thankful for money.
Yeah.
Hey, money does help you live, man. We get a lot of things you need in life that money provides.
Right.
What about you, Nas?
I'm thankful for. I'll say definitely my family.
Your girlfriend.
Nah, I'm thankful for
Your
my
wife.
girlfriend.
You say that all the time. Yeah, your wife.
Nah, facts. I mean, just because like being in a relationship, I learned so much stuff about myself and like internally wise, not be things like that I like, but things that I used to do, stuff in my childhood. Like for example, for the thing we was just talking about, like you used to talk to me every time I had them temper tantrums and stuff like that. So now when I'm in my relationship, the first thing I do is I want to talk about something, right? But I learned I had to compromise and things of that nature. But I'm also thankful for the opportunities you gave me and then my mom gave me, because I really just like North Star, like that's a big opportunity.
Shout out to Scott Hazelrig, North Star.
Oh yeah, for
North
sure.
Star was great to all my boys, so I always got to give them love. But anyway, go ahead, Nas.
Yeah, I'm thankful for boxing, just all those opportunities I had. I'm thankful for to wake up, live another day. Thankful.
Definitely. You know, both of you guys talked about your parents and how you're thankful for that. So let me ask you this. I'll start with Nas and then I'll go to BJ. What's one thing that you admire about your father?
Oh yeah, your personality for sure. Like we'll go to the store, he'll meet 10 different people, and then he'll see another 10 people that he know, right? So I just like, so much people that they know me, and it's just like to have like a good, strong community. I'm very like, I admire that about you, your personality, like your extrovertness. Like I don't know if that's a word, but your extrovertness.
It is today. What about your mom? What's one thing you admire about your mom?
Oh yeah, just her like kind soul, her pure heart. Like she's very genuine. And then when people see that in me, like they don't really see that much in this generation, like somebody being genuine, especially like a guy. So it's just like to see somebody that's genuine, they're like, oh, like, I could really rock with this dude. So I definitely say her genuineness.
Okay, good. Those are really good. BJ, what about you? What's one thing you admire about your father?
My father, probably like his communication skills, because like he can communicate to like my level, to like where I can understand, instead of him like saying all these different things I can't understand. But when he goes to like simple things that I can understand it and we can get through it and all that.
Okay, what about your mom? What's one thing you admire about her?
Her caringness, because a lot of times she might like get on me, but she still cares for me. But it's just like she's just trying to look out for me and not have me do like stupid stuff or whatever, but she still cares a lot and all that.
That's good. You know, and I think a lot of people, I talk so much too about, you know, when people say things about single moms, and single moms are like, you know, I was the mama and the daddy. That irks my soul, because I'm like, you cannot be the father the same way I can't be the mother. And I think people forget that we each have something that we're supposed to pour into this child to make them whole. Right. And I appreciate what you guys said about what you admire from each, because that's exactly what I'm talking about when I make that statement. Like, you know, Nas gets, you know, that caring side and that genuineness and things like that from his mom, and from his dad he gets that personality and that discipline. And the same thing with BJ, he gets that caring from his mom and that communication from his dad. And we all got these different things that we work together to make this person whole. And I think sometimes people, when we talk about single parent homes, people forget that because your child is lacking that, it doesn't mean they're going to grow up to be this horrible person. It doesn't mean you can't teach them to be a good human being, but there's things they're going to go through and have to navigate because they didn't have that other part.
Right. And I think if both parents, if it is a split home, single parent over here, single parent, I won't even say single parent, but if you co-parent in the same community, is the end goal is to see that child or those children at the finish line. And then once they get to the finish line, now y'all start the second race. And a lot of times people don't really look at it that way. But if you say, okay, putting aside differences because that child had nothing to do with whatever y'all had going on, so let's focus on how do we get our son or our daughter or our children from A to Z. And then, like I said, once they hit that Z, now you can maybe relax a little bit, because now you're in your second win, and now as they're in their adulthood, the parent can enjoy it, the child can enjoy it, and y'all have this everlasting long relationship that just continues forever.
Right. And while we're on it, let me just say real quick, I want to shout out my children's mothers. Like, I got a couple of them, but I want to shout them out, because no matter what, you know, when you go through relationships, whether you're dating or even after you break up, there's good and there's bad.
Right.
And sometimes when you're not together and there's bad, you feel like saying, you know, I'll forget you. And you don't, you know, the feelings aren't there to really care for them the way you did when you were together. So it's easy sometimes to be like, you know, it's my way, forget you. But we've never done that. You know, my children's moms, we all have great co-parenting relationships. No matter what was going on between us, no matter if it was good or if it was bad, we've always worked to the betterment of our children, and I'm so thankful for that. Because again, I've had my bad times, my good times, you know, all and everything in between. But the kids have always been our priority.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with me. It's always been BJ's always been our priority, and at the end of the day, that's not going to change. So yeah,
No, definitely. And before we move too far forward, because you know I got to get my little heart filled up to hearing what they admire about us. What do you admire about BJ?
I admire a lot of things about BJ. BJ's his drive, because I kind of see myself in him a lot, but his drive and the fact that I'm just looking at 8th grade to 9th grade and just me. I remember me preaching, just saying, hey, man, 9th grade, you got to buckle down. You got to do what you got to do, because this is going to be the precursor for everything that you do for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And for him just to actually take on football. Now he's in basketball season. He's training for golf, and then he'll have track, doing all those things, but still maintaining a very high GPA. Like, to me, like, I just smile, and I try, like, and then here's the thing too, like the way that these grades are now, it's kind of weird. So they could take a test, it could drop them down to a C, but then they do a retest and add some assignments, and it takes them up to a B plus. It's just it's a roller coaster.
Yeah,
and it's weird. And the way, and like they said, the way that some of these teachers teach, I think they're teaching to get them out the door and just on to the next. But again, throughout all of that and all the adversity that he may face, just BJ's drive and his relentlessness and him being able to still stay focused, stay positive. I give him kudos, because it's funny. Like he does have friends that date, which is super duper young, 9th grade. It is what it is on that. But him being able to have dialogue, but it's cool for him not to be interested right now, or even if he was, but he has his priorities. He sets his priorities straight, and then he moves his own beat. So like the sky's the limit is the limit for BJ, and also his hustle. Like, man, he just like me. Like, he has his own couple businesses and he's doing his thing. So I told him I'm always gonna support you in everything that you do. You keep God first. You stay positive, and shoot, the rest is it. You ain't got to worry about nothing else.
definitely, man. That's dope, man. But I've always known BJ was a dope kid, even though I'm not around BJ a lot. You know, me and you talk enough to where I hear so many things about him. I know he's amazing. I have a lot of kids. You know, Nas is one of 7. And there's so much I admire in each of them. But since Nas is on the show, I'm going to say Nas. The one thing I admire most about Nas is his mind. Like, when me and Nas talks, the way he thinks and the way that he looks at life and the way he steps back and analyzes things is, to me, amazing. Like, you know, I used to work with a lot of at-risk kids and things, and I just don't know a lot of kids that think the way he thinks, and the type of logic that he uses is to me, it's mind-boggling. You know, I feel like we're a lot alike, but I feel like he's a lot like me now, and it took me 48 years to get here. And I'm like, man, he has such a head start in life because he's thinking that way at 17, and that's crazy to me, and I do admire that so much in him.
Another thing, you kind of alluded to it, something that I'm real big on, and I love to tell people this, but when you have a child, even within yourself, finding the right balance between logic and emotional intelligence, you have to find that sweet spot, because you have to have logic to navigate throughout this world, but then you also have to have the emotional intelligence, because if something comes at you and they're on level 10, how do you process this and then now start thinking so you don't react and match that energy? Because you don't always have to match energy. You can go a level up, a level down, or whatever in between. Being able to do that, and then just based on all the pressures of the world, like, I think that's going to be key for any child to be able to navigate throughout this world, is having a nice balance of both, because when you think with logic, you tend to not put yourself in bad predicaments, or predicaments that just emotion may trick you off. So I think that's real big from a parent perspective, and then passing that on to your children as well.
No, definitely balance is big in every aspect of life. Yeah, so I agree with you 1,000% on making sure you teach them balance and everything like that. Let me ask you this, fellas. when it comes to the pressures of the world or the pressures of youth, because there's a lot of things we didn't dive into, but I know that there's drugs out there. I know that there's gangs out there. I know that there's girls out there. Pressure. There's a lot of different pressures. Like, how do you handle pressure? Like, when something comes and it's difficult and you don't know what to do, how do you handle that, BJ?
I probably just talk to my dad about it, or I probably just hop on the game or something like that. I'll just play like 2K or something like that and just chill.
That's your stress reliever, the game system?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Nas?
I'll say, yeah, I'll talk to the people like my dad, my older brother, girlfriend, friends, homies. I'll talk to them about it. And then also I just find like things for me, which is like boxing, or I'll take like self-care days. Y'all know, like, I know like a lot of men don't do that, but like just days to myself, like to where one day out the week, I'm just chilling, like doing the things I love to do, like just watching some movies, going to grab some food, hanging out with the guys or something. Like days to where I could just reset.
Self-care is big.
Hey, we talk about it all the time.
I take him, go get a massage. We go out movies. We meet father, son. We go get some grub. So it's very, very important to do those things. But the funny thing is, I got pictures on my phone right now when he was 2, me and him at Runza, eating the little corn dogs, and I'm eating whenever I'm eating and just chilling to take yourself out of that environment.
You know, and Nas said a lot of men don't do that. We've talked about this before, and me and you both are big on self-care, but let me just put this out there. Like, self-care says that you like you.
Right.
That you're okay with being alone with you, with your thoughts, with your emotions, and dealing with you. And like Nas said, it's a reset. Like, when you do self-care, man, we talk about massages, right?
Right.
Man, you go get a nice massage, or I told you they teased me for making that post being in the bathtub, my foot out.
We got on them.
Yeah, how y'all ate me. But man, do you know how relaxing it is for me
sure.
to put on some Maxwell, to light a candle and sit in there in the bubble bath? Like,
Right.
I know most men don't do that, right? But for me, that just allows me to just sit and clear my mind and just think about, what I'm trying to do, what I want to do. That, I'm not big on stress anyway. I'm not a big stressor. Shout out to my boy Raphael Barlow. Raphael, we were in Dallas one time going to a Husker game, and we was in this limited edition Corvette. And we got behind a car. The car stopped abruptly. We ended up going under their hitch, and it wrecked the whole front.
Oof.
And so I was like, dang, man, like, the car was still drivable. And I was like, what, we about to go home? He's like, for what? And I was like, well, you just wrecked a $80,000, $100,000 car. Like, you still want to go to the game? He said, look, man, I don't cry about things I can't control because I can't control it.
Right.
And I don't cry about things I can control because I can just control it.
Right.
And it really changed my outlook for the rest of my life on how things affect me and how stress affects me. I don't really get stressed over things because I feel like, hey, man, you know what? God ain't never deserted me, so he going to take care of me. And if I can't control this, why am I going to wreck my body, my health, and myself by worrying about it? If I can control this, why am I going to wreck my body, my health, and myself when I can just change it?
Yep.
So I'm very big on that. So I'm not a big stressed person anyway. But, man, to have a nice bubble bath with your feet out the tub with some Maxwell playing and some candles, man, that's the life to me.
And see, with me, I'm in the garage. I can go get a massage, a facial, in the garage working on the cars, pretty much anything, man. I got so many different outlets that I could just go do and just be myself and clear my head. Like golf, what he'll see, like he's getting bigger into golf now. It's just something about being on that course, being out in the elements, and it's you and that ball and nothing else in between, and you just clear your mind and just go from there. But yeah, so, and then another thing that you alluded to that I always tell him, what you can't control, you only can control yourself. Control yourself. What's meant to happen, what's meant to be is going to be meant to be. I take that approach just in business. Like, I had a machine that went down. I'm like, dang, man, I'm losing money, this is and this. So I ended up having to buy a whole new machine. Come to find out, got the new machine, got my old machine. It was something as simple as a connection. Now I'm back online with that. But then instead of me screaming and cussing like, oh, man, I got two. Now I'm looking at it like, man, it's a job that's about to come that's going to be big enough for me to do two at one time. And, I'm thankful and blessed that I'm even in a position to be able to have two machines. Some people don't even have one, this particular large format printer.
Yeah, dude. And you know, my saying is God ain't never said oops, right?
No.
There's no mistakes. So it's crazy that you would think like, well, hey, if I got two now, that just means there's a big job coming, because that's what it means.
Yep.
It means God preparing you for the blessings that he got coming your way.
And I'm going to receive them, take them, and keep praying about them and keep doing the work to get them. So,
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Gentlemen, let me ask y'all a question, because right now you guys are young men, but one day you're going to be a man and be responsible for a family or children or a wife or whatever it is. What's one thing that I don't want to say fear, but what's one thing that you really pay attention to that you want to be when you become a man?
Probably like I couldn't.
Want Nas to go first?
Yeah, Nas.
I'll say probably like just the time. Like I don't want to like just ruin all my time doing one thing, and then like just for example, like in a career that I don't want, like spending my time doing that, and then it's just like I'm like how everybody is. Oh, when I was younger, if I started when I was younger, I wish I had this and this. I don't want to be like that. I want to be like when I'm old enough, like just know that my life is fulfilled. Like I already got the blueprint like for me from like my dad, but I know that I'm just gonna be a great father. I'm very family oriented, and I know that also. One thing that I do fear is probably just I don't want to have like multiple baby mamas or like any drama in my life, or I don't want to have like all that. Nah, I just want to have like a good family. Like I'm not materialistic at all. That's really just all I want. Like I don't want no drama. I don't want none of that. I just want a peaceful life.
Nas wear Nike with Adidas, so we know he ain't materialistic.
Yeah,
I think most of these kids.
Man, all these kids do. I was looking back at BJ. He got on some fly Asics, but he got on Nike and Asics, and I was like, these kids are crazy.
That might be acceptable. I think Nike, Asics, Nike, New Balance. I don't know.
Not from where I'm from.
For sure, that's true.
But that's what they do nowadays. Like they do that. So and they listen to whack rappers because Nas be listening.
I will say something else that for Nas and for BJ, as you mature, you get into your manhood. One thing that's gonna probably help you out in life is the word pivot, because sometimes things don't go the way that you want them to go. Don't take that necessarily as whether it be in a job, a relationship, anything that goes throughout your life that you may consider like big. Things may not always go the way that you want them to. Sometimes you got to pivot and move into a different direction, or God forces you into a different direction. Don't take that as a bad thing. That could be a good thing, because sometimes we outgrow things. We outgrow relationships. We outgrow jobs. We outgrow friendships, a little bit of everything. But that's where I go back to having the emotional intelligence, being able to have discernment, being able to think with logic. And if you have all those things and you've been taught right and you just keep living your life right, when adversity comes to you, maybe a death in the family, you're able to process that, take the time for yourself, for the self-care, and then get yourself back in the game, get repositioned, and don't give up. And that goes for all of our followers too, and maybe their kids listening. If you got adversity, don't give up, because your next big thing or your next blessing could have just been a week later, but you gave up, but you'll never even know.
Man, I always tell the kids I work with, I always say, go past the letter R. I say, go past the letter R. And then they don't know what it means. So I tell them, I say, there's two words. There's fear, F-E-A-R, and there's feat, F-E-A-T. One means you're afraid to do something, you're afraid to try. The other one means a great success. It's something that you achieved. And that letter T is one letter past the letter R, or a couple letters past the letter R. So if you go past the letter R, if you go past fear, you can get a feat.
That's true.
So it sounds a little crazy here when I tell the kids, I explain it a little better. But go past the letter R. Like you said, don't give up, because you don't know what God has for you. And there's a movie called Signs. Do you ever watch Signs with Mel Gibson?
Is that with a little boy or something? Or?
He had a son that had asthma, and the aliens came, and the aliens had poison in his hand that he would shoot into, and kill people, and and they were water would destroy them. But in this movie Signs, his wife died, and he came to the scene of the accident, and the wife was still alive. She was in the process of passing away. And he's like crying. He's like, I love you. He's a pastor. He's a priest in the movie. And he's like, I love you. I love you. And she says, tell Billy to swing away, which is her brother, Billy. tell Billy to swing away. And he didn't understand what that meant. And he was so upset at God that his wife died that he quit being a priest. Like, he denounced it and didn't really believe in God anymore. And his brother-in-law, her brother Billy, played baseball. And he didn't have he failed. He didn't have the success that he wanted in baseball, but he had a home run record. So he had this bat that was hanging on the wall to commemorate his home run record. And they had a daughter that had a phobia of germs. And so she would drink water and be like, there's germs in this. And so she would set it down, but they would try to make her drink water all the time. So she had all these cups of waters around the house that she didn't drink. Well, the aliens come, and the son had debilitating asthma. You know, to where like he almost died a few times from asthma attacks. So long story short, the aliens come. One alien gets trapped in their house and grabs the son because the son had an asthma attack. And the dad is like cussing out God. And he's like, why would you do this? And then the alien grabs the son and they're trying to, you know, fight the alien. It's not working. The alien shoots the poison into the son's face. And the dad looks around and he remembers what the wife said. Well, I missed the part. When they're trying to fight the alien, one of the cups of water spills on the alien's arm and it starts to sizzle like it's affected him. And so then the dad remembers what the wife said, where he says, tell Billy to swing away. And then he looks around and he sees the bat on the wall. He sees all these glasses of water around. And then he looks at Billy, he says, swing away. So he takes the bat off the wall and he starts hitting the water onto the alien. And then he grabs the son from the alien. He runs outside with the daughter and the son. Billy keeps hitting the water on the alien and killing the alien. And then when they get outside, they realize because he had an asthma attack and all his airways closed up, none of the poison got inside. And that movie, that's a long story to say, that movie changed my life because it was like all these things that went in their life that they thought were bad. The daughter having the phobia of germs, the son having the asthma, the brother-in-law having this having the home run record, but a failed career, put everybody in the position at the right time to save that family's life. And it was like all these things you thought were bad turned out to be a great thing for them.
Right. And it is never, at the end of the day, I don't even think, even if you're at your lowest of lows, it's not that bad because God woke you up that morning. Yeah. Because you could easily be gone.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely. But guys, you know, I think that's about a wrap, man. Like I said, this was about family, and we want to really have our sons on here, show them what we do, get them in this atmosphere, and just have a conversation with them.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it. Thank you, BJ and Nas, for being on the podcast.
Yeah, BJ was a little shy, man, but you did it, dude. You did a great job.
For sure.
Hey, before we end, because the Thanksgiving is coming, what's one dish that you looking forward to on Thursday?
Cheese.
The mac and cheese. Hey, man, that's how I know you're a brother. Mac and cheese is important in our community. Nas, what about you?
Yeah, low key the mac and cheese. I ain't gonna lie. My mom make the best, but
your mom make the best.
Yeah, my mom make the best.
You know, I cook too.
My mom make the best.
Wow.
He said what he said.
I thought you were gonna say Aunt Franny's pie because you.
Oh yeah, that stuff, guys. For sure.
Yeah. What about you? What are you looking forward to?
Man, I'm usually doing non-traditional. I think I'm gonna smoke a couple racks of ribs.
I'm coming to your house. You know what? For me, I really think it's the turkey. I know a lot of people get tired of turkey and hate the turkey, but you give me a nice fried turkey that's still juicy, and boy, I look forward to that.
Yeah, for sure.
What about parting ways? You got anything you want to say to our listeners before we get out of here?
Man, we love you. Thanks for rocking with us. I'm looking forward to seeing some family for Thanksgiving, and man, I'm definitely looking forward to what's coming in 2026. So just got to keep the grind going and keep going.
Definitely, and I want to say, happy Thanksgiving. My mother has passed away. My father's passed away. I've lost in-laws. So I want to say a lot of times we don't realize that this really is about family. And the people that are here today may not be there at next year's celebration. Right. So take a moment to step back and enjoy the loved ones that you have in your life. Yep. What about guys? You guys got anything you want to say to our listeners?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of. Anything coming up? Whenever we have guests, we always talk about anything you might have going on. You guys got anything going on or coming up you want to shout out?
Sports, school, anything?
New basketball season coming up.
Basketball.
All right.
Hey, and BJ being a little humble here, man. What all he do? You told me the list earlier, and I was shocked.
Oh, football, basketball, golf.
Golf.
Track.
He on the golf team.
Yeah, and then also academics. So plus all his outside curricular activities.
Yeah, Nas, what about you? What you got going on?
There's a couple boxing matches in December. Y'all gonna see me for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Nas is gonna be the next. He boxes at B&B at Terrence Crawford's gym, and he definitely gonna be the next Terrence Crawford.
Yes,
If you don't believe it, watch him.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Like always, I'm Jason.
I'm Brandon.
Peace.
Peace.